I've kicked things off with this funny video of Will Smith chomping spaghetti titled Intel chips on one side, NVIDIA chips on the other. It's meant to perfectly illustrate the epic fall from glory that Intel has experienced in the last couple years. The stock price is now down 75% from all-time highs, and today I'm going to analyze, is this an incredible opportunity? We're going to look at the risk to the reward, and we're going to look at the key levels in the charts today. I'm also going to cover some other companies that are going to be reporting earnings this week and next week, and a brief little overview of what's going on with the macro of the market in this coming week. This is the Stocks with Josh show. Thank you for joining me today. I see opportunity in Intel, but I'm expecting a further down move. But we're getting so close to this company being very attractive and having a higher reward opportunity than what I would call a risk to the downside that we need to be watching out for. Which direction is this stock currently moving? What is the trend of Intel right now? It's absolutely down. These guys have been getting punished, getting hammered, and they deserve it because just like that intro video showed, they missed the mark. The technology wasn't where it needed to be. They missed mobile computing, and then they underdeveloped in the area of GPU as it relates to the AI market. They absolutely deserve to be at the share price that they're currently at, which is over a decade-long low and what some would refer to as near liquidation levels. But there's reasons why this company probably won't go away, and I'll just start right off and give you one of them, and that's that they are on a list of exclusive companies that receive something called government subsidies. These are when companies are considered too big to fail, and the United States government is giving them your hard-earned tax dollars to prop them up, basically to reward them for being poorly managed and unsuccessful. Now, we don't give any rewards to companies that are crushing it like NVIDIA necessarily or Apple. I mean, I'm sure that they get their reward in tax breaks, which I know they do get. But companies like Intel are actually on what I'll call a corporate welfare list. And would you believe it that Intel is number 2 on that list for receiving the most subsidies out of any American company? If you don't know who number 1 is, I bet some of you guys could guess. It's Boeing, right? So Intel is just beneath them, and this is a company that's receiving billions of tax dollars to be given the opportunity to have a turnaround moment. Having said that, Wall Street still wasn't impressed with the way the company was being managed, and this thing has been under very hard selling pressure. But we're getting to a place where it might simply be too attractive to ignore anymore. And of course, I'm going to take you into the charts, and I'm going to show you where the important lines in the sand are going to be and where it is I'm going to be watching for a moment to pick up and go long. Now, this isn't going to be a quick turnaround story, okay? And we really want to see some green candles before we get into too big of a position. But definitely time, perhaps this week or perhaps this month, to begin to nibble on this company. It's getting very interesting, and I'll show that to you in the charts. I want to briefly talk about the macro of the market going into this week. We've got, obviously, not this week, but the following week, January 20th, on Monday, is the presidential inauguration. And I think at this point, we could pretty much call it already and say that it's not a buy the rumor, sell the news. It's clearly been a sell the rumor, and we're going to have to wait till we get to Monday of next week to see if it's a buy the news. Now, I'm imagining as we go into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're going to continue the trend that we've been in, which is to be continuing to the downside. Now, what I'm going to be watching for, and the title of my last video was, we need to be getting ready to potentially buy the dip. But I thought I would qualify that statement with a little bit more explanation before we get into this week. I'm not going in and buying on Monday, and I may not be going in and buying on Tuesday. If we continue to have red days, I'm going to be patient and I'm going to let it come down. The only way that I would be a buyer of this market or a buyer of the dip is if I saw a flood of volume and a green momentum candle, and specifically an engulfing candle that would push us back to the upside right before the inauguration. That's what I'm going to be looking out for. Otherwise, this is a market in decline, and you don't want to go against the trend until we see evidence of a trend reversal. Okay, let's talk a little bit about who is reporting earnings this week. On Wednesday, we're getting a lot of the banks. We've got Chase, Wells, BlackRock, New York Mellon, Goldman Sachs, and Citigroup. And then on Thursday, we've actually got an interesting company. I will cover it this week, TSMC, but then more banks, U.S. Bank Corp, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley. And then Friday, we've got Citizens Financial, Webster Bank, State Street, and Regions. And then even more the following week. So the first part of our earnings cycle here is going to have a lot of the banks. And I can tell you right now that if the banks are doing poorly, that definitely signals or pre-signals a coming recession, which optimistically, if this week we begin to get some good earnings reports from the banks, it might show that the economy is strong and that there's a lot of business going on and that we're not falling into an early recession. So this would also be another indicator of a strong economy. And then, like I said, next Monday, we've got the inauguration, and then we've got our first big tech company, Netflix, reporting earnings on Tuesday, and it could line up for a potential bounce. Now, I also wanted to clarify this. Even though I do see a potential bounce because we're in an oversold state, and I don't think that the markets are going straight into capitulation this week with heavy selling. I don't really see the justification for that. I do believe that we're in the beginnings of a bigger correction, which largely will be realized possibly through this earnings event. So we're going to see how the market reacts to big tech and if they hold their ground and maybe even come up a little bit, or whether we get into a heavier selling environment. But you need to be prepared that you don't buy the dip that turns into a recession. So that's why we're watching closely for the opportunity, but it needs to be confirmed with green, high volume, momentum, and golfing candles to the upside. Otherwise, we don't want to touch this market. But the company we're going to talk about today has already been beaten down, and it's getting very close to what I would say is a higher reward opportunity than to a risk opportunity. And we're talking Intel. All right, we're looking at monthly candles. Each candle represents a month of price action. So this is quite a span of years. It had been in a historic ascending channel for many years, which would often talk about the fact that as long as a price stays inside an upward ascending channel, it's bullish. It's only when it breaks outside or beneath the channel that the trend breaks down, and you can expect a strong sell-off, which we've actually been in now for 1,491 days. You absolutely cannot have any FOMO on this one. There should be no fear of missing out because, like I said, this has been trending down for over 4 years, and the trend is clearly still pointing down. Now, 1860 is a triple bottom support, and I've talked about these types of things in the past. We've got 3 monthly candles which have a very strong defined support level right at $18.60, which means that if this level gets broken, we're going to get another leg down. And where is support? Support is largely going to be all the way down at $16 and even as low as $12. So it's going to be in this region. But I really do believe at this late hour of Intel's decline that you're going to see that there's a lot of investors on Wall Street that are going to find the money to drop a little bit in Intel at that low valuation, ridiculously low valuation. And because there are wheels of industry and new relationships forming in Washington, D.C. between American companies and this new administration, and those types of deals are the deals that could prop up and reverse Intel's fortune. This is a company that supports a lot of American jobs, and it is a company that politicians have fought to support and keep alive. With new management, this could be finally knocking on the door of reversal. Now, let me just share with you guys that as far as a confirmation of this going higher, that isn't going to be had until we get back above $20. And if you're shorting Intel at these levels, you would want to close those shorts and have a cover if the price moved back above $20. But as we're going into this week, I am watching very closely this $18.60 price range, because this is the one that if we close a daily, weekly candle underneath, it's going to confirm a move down to 16. Now, let me just point out one more thing to you. The move from 1860 down to 16, well, that's a 20% potential drop in share price. But if this company truly begins a reversal moment and is too big to fail and does have the support of the new administration, the opportunity to go back to all-time highs is where this gets very, very interesting. To get back to all-time highs, this could go up 400% if we dip down to this $16 level. And I believe that this company could do that. It's just going to come down whether or not they want to play nice with the Trump administration. This is one that is still going to take a little bit of time. The trend is to the downside, but I'm going to say that we might be within 30 days of the bottom and the reversal on Intel. And you haven't heard me talk about this one much. I've been telling people not to buy it, that it was still coming down. And right now I'm also telling you that it's coming down, and there's even opportunity to short it if it breaks beneath that 1860. So go short if this breaks beneath $18.60 because it confirms a move potentially down as low as $16. Now, that's not a suggestion for you to buy, sell, or hold. That's for those who are practicing day trading in a paper trading account only, taking no risk positions. But that would be a line in the sand that if the price crossed beneath, you could get some profit as it moves down to 16. But watch out, if it closes and moves above $20, the down move is canceled. So put Intel on your watch list and let me know what you think of the risk to reward scenario that I painted for you today. This is not a company that's been winning and they've been punished. Now, are we near the turnaround moment? I think a lot of interest is beginning to circulate around this company, and it's only going to take one positive news story to trap all of those greedy bears that stayed at the party too long. So I think that this is going to be one to be watching in the next 2 weeks, especially after the inauguration, because we might be ready for a pop here. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. This is going to be an interesting week on Wall Street. I think the macro is bearish. Be mindful of that. We're looking for opportunities to the downside going into Monday and Tuesday, and we're going to be watching for any kind of reversal that we may or may not get by the end of the week in anticipation of Trump's inauguration. It turned out to be a sell the rumor, and now we have to see the closer we get to next Monday whether it's going to be a buy the news. Thank you. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Don't miss out on those trade calls that I give, the trade setups that I give in the Stocks with Josh Discord, in addition to the Leaps folder, which is going to have long-term investment opportunities that are getting loaded very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Hit that like and that subscribe. Join the community. Hope to see you over in the Discord. Take care.